The sky over Earth trembled as shadows stretched across the blue heavens. People everywhere stopped what they were doing. Farmers in their fields, children in playgrounds, soldiers at their posts. Something vast, something unnatural was entering the atmosphere. For weeks, there had been whispers, rumors of signals caught by deep space satellites, strange transmissions intercepted by militaries. Now there was no more guessing. The invasion had begun. From the black of space, ships descended like falling stars. Their hulls burned bright with fire as they broke through Earth's sky. But these were no meteors. They were war machines, alien vessels with surfaces that glowed with shifting green light. Their design unlike anything humans had ever created. They came fast, almost too fast, and the air shook with thunder as they neared the surface. On the ground, fear spread like wildfire. Crowds gathered around television screens, radios and phones. Military jets scrambled from hidden bases, and missiles were primed. Humanity had always imagined what first contact would look like. Some thought it would be peace. Others thought it would be war. Few had expected this, an armada descending without a word. Then, in a flash, the first ships landed. Massive doors opened on their undersides, releasing rows of soldiers. They looked tall, armored, unstoppable. Their weapons glowed with alien energy, humming with power. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Humanity's armies braced themselves. And then, something strange happened. The alien soldiers stepped onto Earth's soil and immediately collapsed. One fell. Then another. Then an entire line of warriors dropped to the ground, their limbs twitching, their glowing weapons falling silent. Gasps rose from the watching crowds. Cameras captured every moment. Across the globe, billions watched in disbelief as the invaders stumbled and dropped like broken machines. Their armor sparked. Their eyes rolled back. Within seconds, dozens of alien warriors lay motionless on the Earth they had come to conquer. At first, people thought it was a trick. Could this be a new kind of weapon? Was humanity's military using something unknown, something hidden? But no missiles had fired. No guns had roared. No human weapon had been unleashed. The aliens had fallen on their own. In one of the landing zones, a soldier named Mark Jensen stood frozen, his rifle raised. He had expected to fight. He had expected to die, maybe. But now, before him, the enemy lay scattered like dolls tossed aside. His hands shook as he lowered his weapon. What just happened? He whispered. Nearby, scientists in mobile command stations watched their screens with wide eyes. Readings came in, energy surges, rapid biological failures. Oxygen, gravity, radiation, something about Earth itself seemed to be breaking the aliens. Yet the data made no sense. These invaders had crossed the stars. Their ships were advanced beyond anything humanity could dream of. How could they survive the vacuum of space, but not Earth's open air? Around the world, the same scene repeated. Every point of invasion turned into chaos. Alien soldiers fell as soon as their boots touched soil, as if Earth itself rejected them. Their commanders barked orders in languages no human could understand, forcing more troops to disembark. But every soldier met the same fate: collapse, silence, stillness, and yet not all of them were dead. Some twitched, their bodies struggling as though suffocating in an invisible sea. Their voices cried out, sharp and alien, echoing across battlefields. But they could not rise. They could not fight. Panic broke inside their own ranks. Ships hovered above the ground, unsure whether to release more soldiers. Humans, still in shock, dared not move closer. Was it a trap? Could the aliens be pretending, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? In the cities, ordinary people poured into the streets, staring up at the skies lit by burning vessels. Fear and awe mixed in their hearts. For the first time in history, all nations, all people were united in a single moment of disbelief. The enemy they feared most had fallen before the first shot was fired, but with disbelief came questions. What was killing them? Was it Earth's gravity crushing their bodies? Was it the air they could not breathe? Was it the magnetic field, or something older, deeper, something hidden in the planet itself? No one knew. Not yet. In the middle of the confusion, cameras zoomed in on one alien soldier. His faceplate cracked open, revealing skin that glowed faintly under the sunlight. His black eyes darted back and forth in terror. He clawed at the ground as if trying to rise, but his strength was gone. His breathing came out ragged, his chest heaving against armor that once made him look unstoppable. Now he looked weak, fragile. Human soldiers dared to step closer. Weapons ready, hearts pounding, they circled the fallen invaders. One soldier reached out, nudging the alien's weapon with his boot. No response. Another soldier whispered, "They're dying." "They're really dying?" Above them, the massive alien ship groaned. Its engines pulsed with strange light, as though deciding whether to unleash destruction from above. People on the ground held their breath again. Would the ship fire? Would it burn entire cities to avenge its fallen troops? But the ship did not fire. It hovered in silence, casting a massive shadow across the battlefield. Then slowly, almost uncertainly, it pulled back, rising higher into the sky. The other ships followed, leaving their broken soldiers behind. The world erupted in noise. Some cheered, others wept, and still others screamed in terror. Humanity had been spared, at least for now. But the question burned in every mind: why? Why had the alien soldiers collapsed the moment they touched Earth? The cameras kept rolling, capturing every fallen warrior. The images spread across the planet faster than fire. In living rooms, in bunkers, in hidden corners of the world, people whispered to one another. Was Earth protected by something unknown? Or was this only the beginning of something far worse? For now, no one had answers. Only a terrifying truth: the greatest army ever seen had fallen without a single human, firing a bullet, and somewhere, beyond the stars, the rest of the alien empire would soon hear of this failure. The world did not sleep that night. Every news channel, every radio broadcast, every online stream replayed the same haunting footage: alien soldiers collapsing the moment they touched Earth. The questions grew louder with every passing hour. Was it luck? Was it nature? Or was there something more, something hidden deep within the planet? Governments around the globe rushed to gather answers. Teams of scientists, soldiers, and medical experts were sent to every landing site. The alien bodies were collected, sealed in reinforced chambers, and transported to secret laboratories. Humanity had never held such powerful evidence before. For the first time in history, the enemy was not a shadow in the sky, but a body on the ground. At one crash site in Nevada, bright floodlights lit up the desert night. Tents, scanners, and armored vehicles surrounded the fallen alien warriors. Soldiers in protective suits formed a perimeter while scientists worked in silence, their faces pale but determined. The bodies looked both fragile and terrifying, like statues carved from a nightmare. Their armor still glowed faintly, pulsing with alien energy. Dr. Elena Carter, a biologist chosen to lead the investigation, stood over one of the alien corpses. She adjusted her gloves, trying to steady her hands. Her eyes locked onto the creature's skin, a pale green, almost translucent, veins glowing faintly beneath. "It's alive," she whispered, noticing the chest rising slowly, too weak to move but still breathing. The soldiers nearby raised their weapons, fear flashing in their eyes. "Do we put it down?" one asked. Elena shook her head. "No, we need to understand why they're falling. If Earth itself is killing them, then we've already won. But if it's something else, we need to know before the next wave comes." The tension grew as doctors inserted scanners and needles. Data streamed onto screens. Strange readings appeared, blood thickening, cells breaking apart, organs failing. The alien was dying, but not from wounds. It was as if the very air was poison. "Look at this," Elena murmured, pointing to oxygen levels on the monitor. "They can breathe it, but their bodies can't handle it for long. It's too much, too dense." Their lungs collapse under the pressure. One of the military commanders frowned. "So Earth's atmosphere is lethal to them?" "Not lethal to all," Elena replied. "Some may adapt, but right now Earth itself is our strongest weapon." Around the world, similar reports came in. In Asia, Europe, and Africa, alien corpses piled up in makeshift laboratories. Some disintegrated rapidly, as though their bodies could not exist outside their ships. Others clung to life, twitching weakly, their black eyes staring at their human captors. Theories spread like wildfire. Some scientists argued it was Earth's gravity, too heavy for the alien skeletons to bear. Others claimed it was radiation from the planet's magnetic field. A few whispered of something stranger, something unexplainable, that the planet itself rejected the invaders. In living rooms and shelters, ordinary people argued and speculated. Was Earth alive? Was humanity protected by something ancient, something they never understood until now? Fear mixed with hope, and hope mixed with pride, but not everyone felt safe. High above the atmosphere, alien ships still circled the planet. They had not left. They had not surrendered. Their massive silhouettes blotted out the stars at night, watching, waiting. Humanity feared what their next move would be. In a hidden base beneath the mountains, generals met with world leaders through encrypted channels. "They're testing us," one general said grimly. "They lost soldiers, but they still hold the high ground. If they decide to unleash their ships' weapons, cities will burn before we can react." The president of one nation leaned forward. "Then we need to find out how long their soldiers can last. If this is our only advantage, we must use it." And so, the experiments deepened. Back in Nevada, Dr. Elena studied one alien still barely alive. Its chest rose and fell, its fingers twitching weakly. For a moment its black eyes flickered open. She froze as it stared at her, a strange intelligence shining through its pain. The alien's lips parted and a sound escaped. It was weak, broken, but it was language. Elena leaned closer, her voice trembling. "What are you trying to say?" The alien whispered in tones no human had ever heard before. A translator worked rapidly, converting the sounds into patterns. After several long seconds, the machine spoke in a hollow voice. "This world rejects us." Everyone in the tent froze. Soldiers looked at one another, disbelief in their eyes. Elena's heart pounded as she whispered back, "Why? Why does Earth reject you?" The alien coughed, its body shuddering. "You do not understand. We were not meant to be here. The soil, the air, the light, it breaks us. This planet belongs to something older. You are only guests." Before anyone could ask more, the alien's body went limp. The monitor flatlined. It was dead. The words echoed in Elena's mind. This planet belongs to something older. What did it mean? Was there another force at work, something even humans didn't know? She looked at the soldiers and scientists around her. Their faces were pale, their eyes wide with the same fear she felt. "We have to tell the world," she whispered, but one of the generals stepped forward. "No, we keep this quiet. If people hear that we're only guests on Earth, panic will spread. Until we know the truth, this stays locked down." Elena wanted to argue, but deep inside she knew he was right. Still, she could not shake the alien's words. Meanwhile, high above, the alien ships glowed brighter in the night sky. They were not leaving. They were planning. And humanity still had no idea what would happen when they struck again. The world had survived the first contact. But the real war had not even begun. The alien bodies lay in sealed chambers, guarded like treasures and curses at the same time. Around the world, scientists whispered to one another, sharing impossible data. Gravity, oxygen, radiation, all these seemed to tear the invaders apart. Yet the deeper they looked, the more it felt as if Earth itself was choosing to fight back. In a command bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, generals and scientists studied the results. The atmosphere buzzed with tension. On a massive screen, reports flashed. Alien casualty rate, 98% upon contact with Earth. General Whitaker, a man with sharp eyes and a voice like steel, stood at the front. "We may have discovered our shield," he said. "Our planet itself is their executioner." The room erupted in nervous murmurs. Could it be true? Humanity, always fragile compared to alien power, was suddenly protected by the very ground under their feet. But while most celebrated, some were uneasy. Dr. Elena Carter spoke up, her voice firm but worried. We cannot assume this will last. If they adapt, if even one of their scientists finds a way to resist Earth's environment, they will return stronger than before. The general turned his gaze on her. Doctor, are you suggesting this is temporary? Yes, Elena said quietly. Evolution does not sleep. Neither does desperation. Meanwhile, in labs across the world, the investigations pushed further. Strange discoveries emerged. In one lab in Germany, an alien soldier's armor suddenly reactivated, glowing bright enough to burn through the containment chamber. Scientists rushed to shut it down. The alien inside still lay motionless, but its armor seemed alive, like a second skin trying to protect its dying master. In Japan, a team uncovered something stranger. When alien blood touched Earth's soil, it evaporated instantly, releasing sparks of green light that danced like fireflies before vanishing into the air. One scientist gasped, whispering, "It's as if the planet refuses them." News of these discoveries leaked, spreading online despite governments trying to contain it. The internet buzzed with theories. Some claimed Earth had a hidden consciousness, a living will. Others believed ancient civilizations had prepared the planet for such a moment. Many simply cheered, "Humanity is protected by its home." But the aliens were not silent. Their massive ships still circled high above the Earth. They had not fired their weapons, but neither had they retreated. From orbit they observed, studied, and planned. Strange signals pulsed down to the planet, encrypted in ways human computers could barely scratch. Every intercepted message seemed to carry urgency, maybe even desperation. One night, as scientists in Nevada worked late, alarms blared. A signal, stronger than any before, blasted down from orbit. It was directed not at human radios, but at the alien bodies themselves. On the examination tables, the corpses twitched, fingers curled, heads jerked. For a terrifying moment, it seemed as though the dead soldiers were rising again. Soldiers raised their rifles, shouting warnings. Scientists stumbled backward, hearts pounding, but the bodies did not rise. They convulsed, screaming in alien voices, their sounds echoing through the tent. And then, silence. Every body lay still again, lifeless. The message had failed. "Doctor." Elena stared at the monitors, breathless. "They're trying to revive them," she whispered. "They're trying to keep their soldiers alive." General Whitaker's face hardened. "Which means they'll never stop, not until they find a way to stand on our soil without falling." Far away, in hidden bunkers, world leaders argued. Should humanity strike first, before the aliens adapted? Should missiles be launched at the hovering ships? Some demanded war, others pleaded for caution. What if the ships unleashed weapons? Humanity could not imagine. And yet one thing was clear. For now, Earth itself was humanity's greatest defense. It was not tanks, not bombs, not satellites, but the soil beneath their feet. The people of Earth began to see themselves differently. For the first time in history, humanity felt united. Nations that once distrusted one another now shared data, resources, and plans. Soldiers trained side by side. Scientists worked without borders. Humanity had always fought itself, but now the enemy was larger than all of them. Still, whispers remained. What had the alien meant when it said, "You are only guests"? Was there truly something older at work on Earth, some hidden force even humans did not understand? One night, Elena returned to her lab. She stood over a chamber where an alien body lay cold. Her hand brushed the glass. For a moment she thought she saw movement, not in the alien, but in the soil sample placed beside it. The Earth itself seemed to shift, almost pulse, as though alive. She blinked, and it was gone. But the thought would not leave her. What if Earth was not just a planet? What if it was something far greater? Above, the alien ships loomed, their lights flickering like angry eyes. They had failed once, but they were patient. They would return stronger, smarter, and more dangerous. Humanity had won the first battle without firing a bullet, But victory felt fragile, as though hanging by a thread. And in the silence of the night, as Elena stood alone, she whispered the question no one dared speak aloud. What if Earth is fighting for us, but not for long? The alien ships no longer stayed silent. For days, they had hovered above the Earth like black scars in the night sky. Entire cities lived under their shadows, waiting for fire to fall from above. But instead of attacking, the ships began to change. Strange beams of light spilled down, sweeping across oceans, forests and deserts, as if searching for something. People below watched with dread. The lights pulsed and flickered, crawling over the land like fingers searching for secrets. Some thought the beams were weapons, but nothing burned. Others believed they were searching for weakness. In Nevada, Dr. Elena Carter and General Whitaker stood together as one of the beams passed over their base. The ground shook faintly. Instruments went wild, alarms screeching as the beam touched down. Inside their chambers, the dead aliens twitched again, their bodies glowing faintly. "They're not attacking us," Elena whispered. "They're trying to change us, or change the planet itself." The soldiers in the tent raised their weapons instinctively, but the beam faded as quickly as it came, leaving only silence. Across the world, similar events played out. Over Africa, the beam swept across the savannah, and herds of animals stampeded as if sensing something unnatural. In Asia, the lights covered mountains, causing birds to fall lifeless from the skies. Over the Pacific Ocean, entire shoals of fish floated dead to the surface. The aliens were desperate. Their soldiers could not stand on Earth, so now they tried to reshape it. In hidden meeting rooms, leaders shouted at one another. Some demanded retaliation, ordering missiles to fire on the hovering ships. But others feared the consequences. "If we strike first," one leader said, "they may unleash something far worse than beams of light. We have no idea what their full power is." Back at the Nevada base, Eleanor studied the recordings of the beam. The data made her skin crawl. "They're trying to rewrite the environment," she said. "The air, the water, even the soil. They want to force Earth into something they can survive in." General Whitaker's jaw tightened. "Then we cannot allow them to succeed. Earth is not theirs to reshape." But even as he spoke, Elena's eyes darkened with fear. What if they succeed in changing only part of it? What if they create zones where their kind can live? That means they'll have footholds, and from there they can spread. Her words hung in the air like smoke. Meanwhile, people across the globe lived in terror. Entire cities prayed. Families huddled in basements waiting for news. The internet overflowed with theories, some wild, some terrifyingly close to truth. Many now whispered the words of the dying alien. This planet belongs to something older. And then, something new happened. In the middle of the Amazon rainforest, one of the beams struck down for longer than before. Cameras from drones caught what followed. Alien soldiers, weak and trembling, stepping out of their ships into the glowing light. For the first time, they did not collapse. The footage spread across the world. Alien warriors, though staggering, managed to remain standing. Their bodies glowed as the beam covered them, as if the light wrapped them in protection. Then they began to march. Panic erupted. Humanity's one advantage, Earth itself, was slipping away. In Nevada, Elena slammed her hand on the desk. "They've created safe zones. They've found a way to fight against the planet." General Whitaker barked orders to his men. "Prepare everything we have. If they build bases on Earth, we won't survive the next wave." But before the general could leave, Eleanor grabbed his arm. Her eyes were wide, her voice trembling. "Wait, look closer." On the screen, the alien soldiers marched slowly, their weapons raised. But something was wrong. Their movements were unsteady. Their armor flickered. And then one soldier screamed, a high alien shriek that shook the trees. The glowing light around them began to fade. The soldiers stumbled, their legs giving out. One by one, they collapsed again, this time more violently than before. Their bodies convulsed, then lay still. The beam retreated into the sky, leaving behind silence and corpses. Elena stared at the screen, whispering, The planet fought back. It rejected their light. Whitaker frowned. What do you mean? She turned to him, her face pale. Every time they try to bend Earth to their will, it snaps back harder. They aren't reshaping the planet. The planet is reshaping them. For a long moment, the room was silent. Soldiers and scientists alike exchanged uneasy glances. Are you saying Earth is alive? Whitaker asked. I don't know, Elena admitted. But something is protecting us. Something stronger than their machines. Maybe it's the soil, the air, the water. Maybe it's something we've never understood. But whatever it is, the more they fight against it, the more it destroys them. High above, the alien ships pulsed angrily, their lights flashing across the dark sky. They had failed again. But failure did not mean surrender. Deep inside one of the ships, a message was sent across the stars. Humanity could not hear it, but Elena's words echoed its meaning. They would not stop. They would return with more soldiers, more weapons, more determination, and somewhere on Earth, beneath oceans, beneath mountains, or deep within forests, the unseen force that protected humanity stirred again. Elena Carter looked out at the night sky, her heart pounding. They think they're desperate, she whispered, but they don't know what they're truly fighting. The alien ships filled the sky with angry light. From every corner of Earth, people stared upward, waiting for fire and destruction. The beams that once tried to reshape the planet now pulsed brighter, as if the invaders were preparing one final move. In the Nevada base, General Whitaker stood before his command table, his jaw tight. They failed every time, but they won't stop. They'll keep pressing until Earth itself breaks, or until we do. Dr. Elena Carter leaned over the monitors. Her eyes were heavy, but her mind raced. Data poured in from satellites, recording every pulse, every flicker from the ships above. And then she saw something strange, patterns in the light. It's not just an attack, she said softly. It's communication. They're speaking to the planet itself. Whitaker turned sharply. To the planet? You mean to us? No, Elena whispered. Not to us. To Earth. The room went silent. Soldiers and scientists alike froze, their faces pale. For days, people had wondered if Earth was alive, if something ancient lay beneath their feet. And now, the enemy seemed to know it too. The ships above began to roar. Their hulls glowed as massive cannons unfolded. The world braced for annihilation. Cities emptied into shelters, families clutched one another, soldiers held their weapons, though they knew bullets would not matter. And then it happened. From deep within the Earth, something stirred. At first it was only tremors like distant earthquakes. But then the skies darkened, not with smoke, but with clouds forming unnaturally fast. Thunder rolled across continents. Oceans surged with waves taller than skyscrapers. Forests whispered as if the trees themselves were alive. In Nevada, Elena pressed her hand against the shaking floor. She felt it like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, powerful. Whitaker's eyes widened. Dear God, the planet is answering them. The alien ships fired their beams downward, trying once more to carve Earth into their own image. But this time, the planet fought back. Lightning cracked the skies, striking the beams with violent force. The oceans rose, sending tsunamis crashing against the glowing light. Earth's magnetic field flared, a storm of invisible power that bent the beams away like broken glass. The aliens screamed in frustration. Their ships trembled under the backlash. On the ground, their remaining soldiers, those who had tried to walk within safe zones, convulsed and disintegrated, their armor turning to ash. Elena's voice trembled as she spoke. It's not just nature. It's something older, something they feared long before we ever knew of them. Around the world, people watched as the sky itself seemed to take sides. Humanity, for once, was not alone. One by one, the alien ships began to fail. Their lights flickered, their beams shattered. Entire vessels cracked under storms they could not withstand. And then, like broken birds, they turned away, retreating into the black of space. The invasion was over. For hours, people stood in silence, unable to believe what they had seen. Cities rang with cheers, with sobs, with prayers whispered into the night. The enemy that had crossed the stars had fallen, not by human weapons, but by Earth itself. In the Nevada base, General Whitaker lowered his shoulders. For the first time in days, his stern face softened. "We survived," he said quietly. Elena, however, stared at the trembling soil outside. "No," she whispered. "Earth survived. It chose to protect us. But why?" Her question hung heavy. Humanity had been saved, but the mystery was deeper than ever. If the planet was alive, or if something ancient resided within it, what did that mean for the future? News spread across the globe. Humanity was victorious. For the first time, nations united not in fear of one another, but in pride. They stood tall, declaring themselves guardians of a world more powerful than any enemy. Humanity had been underestimated, not just because of their spirit, but because of the world they called home. In quiet moments, though, people remembered the aliens' dying words. "You are only guests," Elena wrote her final report that night. Her hands shook as she typed the last line. "We may have won, but Earth is not ours. It has only chosen us, for now." High above, in the cold emptiness of space, the alien fleet drifted in defeat. But their message had already been sent across the stars. Other worlds, other empires would hear of Earth, the planet that killed soldiers without a single shot fired, and they would come. But humanity was no longer afraid. For when the day came, they would not stand alone. Their world itself stood with them, and so the story of the invasion ended, not with destruction, but with revelation. Earth was more than a home. It was a force, and it had chosen to remind the galaxy that humanity did not stand helpless. Humanity stood unbroken,